All right, this is part 3, or maybe part 4, depending if you watch the overview on holistic education, looking at whole to part versus fragmentation. And this really focuses on learning theory, holistic learning theory. And if we're focusing on just the learning theory, here is a bunch of research that says human beings learn best, learn complex things best when it's whole to part to whole. Complex things such as learning how to teach, when we can see the whole and then get some skills and then again see the part. See the whole, get some skills with the expectation, then that will put it together and we'll be able to see the whole. Not when we learn a series of discrete skills and then think we'll be able to put all these skills together and create the whole picture. We talked about that earlier. The opposite of that is a skills-based approach, or a now do this approach. That now do this, now do this, now do this, and then you'll be able to do the whole big thing, right? And that's exactly how we do most teacher education programs. We give you little bits in an assembly line, thinking that at the end you'll be able to put all the pieces together and create this picture about how a teacher operates, what a teacher is. That is not what research says how humans learn. It's not. But yet we do it. Why? I have no idea. Why do we not use research on human learning to organize our teacher preparation programs? Why, I ask you, why? We need to get this research and theory on human learning more into our teacher education programs, both teaching it, but having read and implement and doing it. Off on a tangent, sorry. How do humans learn? Not in lines, learn this in a line. It's not a tank to be filled up, tabula rasa. We learn like putting a rock in the middle of a pond and waves going ever out in concentric circles. Or we learn things at higher and higher levels. We need to touch things again and again and again. We don't learn a concept and a skill once and have mastered it. We need to touch it again and again from different angles and at higher levels. That's how human beings learn. As well, the National Research Council, not me, recommends for greater learners that we learn fewer things in more depths. That we have carrots with a lot of roots, fewer things in more depth, rather than just layers and layers of dirt. Those are metaphors, by the way. But we do just the opposite of these things in our schools and teacher preparation programs. We put on more and more and more standards, having you learn more and more and more little things. This little thing, that little thing, more, with the idea that we're going to be better, that more is always better. Nay, I say unto you, nay. And again, I've talked about this. If we were holistic learners, if we aligned our teacher preparation programs with what a body of research says, we'd immerse you in an authentic classroom setting first. You'd work as an apprentice or a paraprofessional, so you saw the whole. Then we would teach you these skills and concepts that you need. Yes, you need this knowledge, this theories. You need the theories. You need this pedagogical skills. You'd have then a context in which to put it, whole to part. This idea, and I'm back to teacher preparation again, it's silly to think that you can put together a finished teaching product in 4 semesters. You just can't do it. That's an insult to master teachers. But the state and accrediting agencies continue just to add more and more little standards. They look at master teachers and they say, oh, they know this, and this. Therefore, here, this master teacher knows all these things, so we need to cram it into 4 semesters. Thinking that you can cram 4 semesters worth of knowledge and teaching, that it took a master teacher 10, 20, 30 years to learn. It's just absolutely ridiculous. We do not create finished products. Any undergraduate or teacher preparation institution that says they do flee from them because they are not telling the truth. We prepare teachers who are ready and able to learn how to become teachers. Just like learning literacy, you learn literacy best when you are immersed in authentic literacy, authentic reading and writing experiences. Teachers should be immersed in authentic teaching experiences. All right? This is this whole to part to whole learning. We learn learning best when we are immersed in the whole. Direct instruction of skills, whether it be in literacy or in teaching, is necessary but not sufficient. Many people think they come from a behavioristic point of view, that teaching reading is the same as teaching phonics. All you do is drill and skill direct instruction in phonics. No. Phonics direct instruction is necessary but not sufficient. You need to immerse them in the whole in the act of reading and writing. Remember, reading is creating meaning with text. Every kid can read first day of kindergarten. They're using more picture cues than letter cues, but they are able to engage to create meaning with that text. In our special ed programs, when we create programs that consist only of pull-out, when we pull that child out of a general ed classroom for little bits of instruction in a special ed classroom, the curriculum becomes fragmented. A little of this, a little of that. They're learning literacy or something else from another perspective, and then they come back and they're supposed to put it together. We create a more fragmented experience when special ed is all pull out from the general ed classroom. The general ed classroom, you have a sense of the whole. Things are connected, but then you're pulling special needs kids out for more instruction, making it more abstract and more fragmented. We're doing the opposite of what research says is most effective in learning. The child then comes back into the classroom having missed things, having their curriculum more broken up, more fragmented, and has to try to make sense of what they missed. Most special ed and remedial classrooms are detached from the general ed classroom. There is little coordination of reading instruction or other instruction. This fragmented curriculum makes it more difficult to learn. Ideally, you would have specialized instruction going on in the general ed classroom. That's called the inclusive classroom, and that's the ideal. Having teachers who are trained in inclusive education. Inclusive education is not remedial. Inclusive education is making the general ed available to students of all abilities and learning styles. All right? That is the ideal. The general ed teacher becomes not a special ed teacher, but an educational specialist. That's the difference between inclusion and remedial. Remediation is sending someone out, giving them special help with the idea that they'll catch up. Sadly, they never do catch up. We want our children in the least restrictive environment. That's what the law says. However, pulling students out of the classroom exclusively might be the most restrictive environment. Pulling them out, that could restrict their growth. As well, starting to think holistically, we think not in terms of units and subjects. They have artificial boundaries. Think instead of integrated subjects, where things fit together, they flow. Thematic instruction. Again, subject area are artificial boundaries. We want balance between all these things in holistic education. Balance, not one or the other, but balance. And you can stop the screen and look at this. Not one, not the other. We tend to be all in one, not the other. All right, this has been part 3, focusing on holistic learning theory, how humans learn.